In 1971, a brutal civil war broke out in Pakistan. At the time, what we know as Pakistan today was only one half of the country. The other half, East Pakistan or modern-day Bangladesh, lay 1,000 miles away. After several years of inequality and economic imbalance, the eastern half eventually resorted to war with the support of the Indian Army. Eventually, on the 16th of December 1971, Lieutenant General Niazi signed the surrender of West Pakistan, officially ending the Bangladesh Liberation War. But what was the root of this conflict? Why was Pakistan divided in such a way, and what problems did that give rise to? We can trace the origin of this conflict and eventual surrender all the way to 1947 and the first partition of the Indian subcontinent. In 1947, the First Indo-Pakistan War took place, which resulted in the founding of the new nation of Pakistan. The compromise reached at the end of this war dictated that territories with a higher Hindu majority would remain part of India, and those with a higher Muslim majority would be assigned to Pakistan. This method of establishing borders caused Pakistan to be split in a highly unusual way. It was split into two exclaves around 1,370 miles apart, and between them lay India. Karachi, a coastal city in West Pakistan, was established as the federal capital and would remain as such until 1959. It had the largest population of any Pakistani city and was the economic center of the nation. Karachi was a seaport, making it a large trading hub and ideal for importing and exporting goods. East Pakistan, being over 1,000 miles away from the capital, would be one of many issues the region would face. Following 1947 and the partition of India, West Pakistan began to grow quite rapidly compared to the eastern half of the country. Karachi and the West Pakistan in general had an influx of Muslim businessmen, doctors, industrialists, and people of other professions fleeing India after the war. More resources and income generated by both exclaves was being diverted toward the development of West Pakistan. Between 1950 and 1970, 113.3 billion Pakistani rupees was spent on the development on West Pakistan. In the same span of time, only 45.9 billion Pakistani rupees was spent on the development of East Pakistan. Healthcare too was far superior in West Pakistan, with the average life expectancy being up to 10 years longer than those living in East Pakistan. Only adding to the inequalities now facing the country, East Pakistan was given less of a representation in civil service and held less seats in the federal government. This failure to compromise resulted in Bangladesh having severe poverty, illiteracy, and a lack of enough food for their increasingly large population. Further creating disunity amongst the Pakistani population, the government, which was dominated by West Pakistan, declared Urdu to be the sole national language of Pakistan. The people of Bengal, the province making up East Pakistan, already had their own language, Bengali. The people of East Pakistan saw this imposing of Urdu as a violation of their rights and, more importantly, a threat to their cultural identity. This caused the people of East Pakistan to begin the language movement. This was a movement dedicated to re-establishing Bengali as a national language of their exclave, allowing it to be used in currency, media, education, and general script. In response to the mass discontent with the new law, the government prohibited public meetings and rallies related to the language movement. On the 21st of February 1952, an organized protest was held, primarily composed of students from the University of Dhaka. During this protest, police shot and killed many of the student demonstrators protesting. This shooting caused a mass civil unrest, and after several smaller conflicts, Bengali would be re-established as the national language of Pakistan in 1954 as part of the one-unit policy. On the 22nd of November 1954, the one-unit policy was announced by Prime Minister Chaudhry Muhammad Ali. Its purpose, to reduce the inequality, imbalance, and provincial prejudice within Pakistan. This program merged the four provinces that made up West Pakistan into a single province, similar to East Pakistan. Additionally, the policy intended to reduce expenses for East Pakistan, allow further and more efficient development of East Pakistan, and to provide autonomy for both exclaves. This program was met with the resistance and discontent from the West Pakistani population, and once again the nation had failed to reach a compromise that all were content with. The one-unit policy would only remain in effect for about 4 years, until the Pakistani President Mirza established martial law in Pakistan, abolishing the policy because of being, quote, unworkable and containing, quote, dangerous compromises. After Mirza was forced to step down, President Yahya Khan was given power. Yahya Khan would then go on to establish martial law in Pakistan in 1969, suspending the constitution. In 1970, Yahya Khan decided to hold Pakistan's first ever general election. The Awami League was the sole major contender from East Pakistan, and the Pakistan's People Party, although facing many other challenges, was the major political party running from West Pakistan. The Awami League won by a landslide. They won a total of 160 seats, an absolute majority from the 300 seats in total, whereas the Pakistan's People Party only won 81 seats. East Pakistan was finally going to gain the rights, respect, and equality they deserved, or so they thought. West Pakistan, who had dominated the nation since 1948, was not so willing to immediately hand over the power to East Pakistan. The West Pakistan government felt that Mujib's 6 points and ideas for the nation were a step towards secession, something they desperately wanted to prevent. They instead made Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, the candidate for the Pakistan's People's Party, as president, and allowed Mujibur Rahman to be prime minister.
No, they wanted maximum autonomy. And the line between maximum autonomy and secession can be a thin one, or it could be made to appear to be a thin one.
As Bhutto and Mujib made this compromise, General Yahya Khan decided against all of this. He put Bhutto under house arrest and ordered the arrest of Mujibur Rahman. This was the final straw for East Pakistan. After being denied the power and representation they believed they deserved, it was time for secession. Civil unrest and protests had escalated dramatically, and the situation was getting harder to control for the authorities. General Tikka Khan began military operations within East Pakistan under the authority of Yahya Khan. These military operations to diminish the resistance and protesters was known as Operation Searchlight, considered by many to be genocide. Nicknamed the Butcher of Dhaka, for these actions, General Tikka Khan began the operation by launching an armed assault on the University of Dhaka. Around 40 students were killed and upwards of 20 staff. Several other military assaults were carried out, focused on groups opposing West Pakistan. The total death count reported for Operation Searchlight by both East and West Pakistan show conflicting results. East Pakistan reported that upwards of 3 million Bengalis were killed, whereas West Pakistan reported that less than 30,000 people had died.
I think any government which would like to persecute their own people is nothing but exaggerated lies. Army has persecuted nobody. Army has tried to save 70 million people of East Pakistan against armed rebels of East Pakistan who were excited and incited by a new theory and philosophy of Awami League for secession. The vast majority of Pakistan, in East Pakistan, have heaved a sigh of relief that this trend and this movement and this agitation has stopped because of army action.
Amidst all these events, India decided to intervene, seeing their opportunity to further divide their rival nation. They took to the side of the Bengali freedom fighters and began to overpower West Pakistani forces commanded by General Niazi.
The Indian Army is in Bangladesh. Your Air Force has been destroyed. You are surrounded on all sides. And if you don't surrender, you will be killed unmercifully.
On the 16th of December 1971, West Pakistan surrendered to East Pakistan in the city of Chittagong.
Afternoon, 90,000 Pakistani soldiers become prisoners of war.
Around 35,000 soldiers surrendered that day, the most in a single surrender recorded since the Second World War. The Pakistani Instrument of Surrender, the official document declaring East Pakistan the new nation of Bangladesh, was signed by Lieutenant General Niazi, Martial Law Administrator of East Pakistan, surrendering to Lieutenant General Jagit Singh Arora, Joint Commander of the Indian Bangladesh Forces.
Of course it is one country.
Is that realistic?
Absolutely realistic. What are realities? Temporary phenomena are not realities. Realities are studied in history. And historically, the concept of Pakistan, the ideal of Pakistan, cannot perish like this.